The Southeast was recently hit by a powerful and deadly storm system. This storm brought heavy rain, high winds, and severe flooding to the region. Many states were impacted by this major weather event. The storm caused significant damage and loss of life. Sadly, at least 10 people lost their lives due to the storm's fury. The storm's impact was felt most strongly in Kentucky. The state experienced widespread flooding, with some areas receiving over 6 inches of rain. The flooding was particularly severe in the eastern part of the state, where many rivers and streams overflowed their banks. The flooding caused extensive damage to homes, businesses, and infrastructure. The storm also brought heavy rain and flooding to other parts of the Southeast. Virginia, Tennessee, and West Virginia all reported flooding and damage. The storm also caused power outages across the region. This storm is a reminder of the power of nature and the importance of being prepared for severe weather. It is also a reminder of the importance of heeding the warnings of local officials during a weather emergency. The state of Kentucky bore the brunt of this devastating storm. The heavy rainfall led to catastrophic flooding, particularly in the eastern regions. Towns and cities found themselves submerged under rapidly rising water. Rivers and streams, unable to contain the sheer volume of water, overflowed their banks, turning streets into raging torrents. Tragically, the floodwaters claimed the lives of 9 people in Kentucky. Among the victims were a mother and her young child, swept away by the relentless current. Their bodies were later recovered from their submerged vehicle, a heartbreaking testament to the unforgiving power of the flood. Emergency responders in Kentucky faced a daunting task as they raced against time to rescue stranded residents. Over 1,000 rescues were carried out, a testament to the scale of the disaster. First responders worked tirelessly, navigating treacherous floodwaters in boats and helicopters to reach those trapped in their homes or on rooftops. The city of Hazard, Kentucky, already familiar with the devastating effects of flooding, experienced its worst flood in 40 years. The water levels surpassed even those of the catastrophic 2022 flood, leaving residents reeling from the repeated blows of nature's fury. While Kentucky suffered the most severe impact, the storm's trail of destruction extended beyond its borders. Neighboring states like Virginia, Tennessee, and West Virginia also grappled with the aftermath of heavy rainfall and flooding. Rivers and streams swelled beyond their capacity, inundating homes, businesses, and critical infrastructure. In Virginia, several areas faced significant flooding, prompting authorities to issue evacuation orders for vulnerable communities. The rising waters forced residents to flee their homes, seeking safety on higher ground. Emergency shelters were set up to provide temporary refuge for those displaced by the floods. Tennessee also experienced its share of flooding woes. The relentless rainfall overwhelmed drainage systems, causing rivers and creeks to overflow. One incident involved the evacuation of a nursing home, as rising waters threatened the safety of its elderly residents. West Virginia, too, felt the wrath of the storm. The state grappled with both flooding and near-hurricane-force winds, a dangerous combination that wreaked havoc on communities. Governor Jim Justice declared a state of emergency, mobilizing resources to assist affected areas and ensure the safety of residents. As the Southeast begins recovery from the floods, another weather threat looms. An Arctic blast is sweeping across the Midwest and Northeast, bringing dangerously low temperatures and high winds. This bitter cold poses additional challenges for communities. Nearly 100 million people are under high wind warnings, with gusts expected to down trees and power lines. This could cause further disruptions to power grids. The combination of high winds and frigid temperatures creates dangerous wind chill conditions, putting those who must venture outdoors at risk of hypothermia and frostbite. Adding to the concerns, forecasters are closely monitoring a developing weather system that could bring a major snowstorm to a wide swath of the country, from the southern plains all the way to the northeast. Some areas, including the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., could see over 6 inches of snow, creating hazardous travel conditions and potentially compounding the challenges faced by communities still recovering from the recent floods.